And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Kansas Speedway as we get ready for the 9th race of the season here of the Oreo Truck Series. We're here at another speedway coming off an exciting road course weekend as we get ready to see if drivers now will be able to utilize the regular left-turning tracks to be able to run down Matthew Rodriguez and his currently large points lead. Matthew Rodriguez was the points leader heading into last week's race at Infineon, and what did he do? He won and extended his points lead even further. He comes in 24 points, not 24 points. It's a total of 26 points. No, it's 16 points. What am I saying? 16 points over Adam Chambers, and then it's a good chunk of 34 points back to the highest running rookie in points, Felix Harris. Matthew Rodriguez going to be starting near the back of the pack for this race, so he's got his work cut out for him if he's going to try and extend his points lead even further today and maybe go for 2 Truck Series wins in a row. He's trying to win his second Oreo Truck Series championship of his career and become a 3-time NNSCRA champion. On the pole for today's race is John Cittadino, a driver who things have not really been going well for him in the last few weeks in the Oreo Truck Series. He was up battling for a spot inside the top 10 in standings, but after Castle Gorge, then Atlanta, and then Infineon, things have just not been going in the direction of the favor of the driver of the 20. Alongside of him is Dylan Poteet, a driver who started out the season really poor and now is finally working his way up through the standings up to 17th in points. He's finally gotten himself back on the right track. Chris Dollerton's going to line up alongside of Kyle Sanofsky. They're going to be row number 2. Dollerton comes into this race 32nd in points. He's going to try and maybe ride the momentum of the great top 3 finish he had last week in the Snickers Cup Series event at Infineon. And Kyle Sosnowski comes into this race currently in the 27th place in standing, so he really needs a good run here today as well. Still looking for that first career Oreo Truck Series victory. And then completing the top 5 is going to be Dylan Young. Man, has he really been turning up the heat with good finishes, as he is currently 12th in points. Dylan Young also looking for his first win of the season as well. We'll see if any of these drivers can do it today. Who's it going to be? 27 laps of racing await us here at Kansas Speedway. The engines have fired up. They'll roll off pit road. They'll complete 2 pace laps. That'll give us time to be able to show you your starting grid for today's race. This is the SFP 250 at Kansas Speedway, as here is your starting lineup. Getting ready to go under the green flag. John Cittadino trying to pick up his second career Oreo Truck Series victory. Dylan Poteet, I believe, is looking for his third Oreo Truck Series victory. It may be his 4th. I don't remember. I know he was a 2-time winner last season. Here we go, though. Green flag is out, and we're underway here at Kansas. Certainly one driver we're going to want to keep an eye on during the course of the day, as each driver usually comes somewhere close to his hometown. That's going to be Sean Henley today. We are not racing at Iowa Speedway during this NNSCRA schedule, so Kansas Speedway is the closest to his home track, as Dollerton's all over the back bumper of the John Cittadino machine. Chris Dollerton, wow, he's got a great run. Here he comes to the inside. These two know each other very well. They both were rookies last season, and they battled for the Oreo Truck Series championship against each other. Take a look here as here comes the Dylan Young machine. What a great run he's been having in the last few weeks. And really been doing it rather silently too. I think the first mention I even made of his good runs was last week at Infineon Raceway when he came away with a 10th place finish. On the heels of that, he is all over the back bumper here. Here they go. 3 Toyotas battling for the lead here. Citadino now goes to the lead. Dylan Young will move to second. Dollarton now into third place. Let's find out where our points leader Matthew Rodriguez is. Currently back here in the 29th position, helping Barney Ward bypass Trent Dunham and Ryan Acosta. So Matthew Rodriguez is steadily moving his way up to the front. See where he crosses the stripe this time. Currently in the 23rd position, so he picked up 6 spots in that one lap. So we move up back to the front here. There is the hometown boy, Sean Henley. He's now inside of the top 10, currently in the 9th position, just ahead of James McLeod. Up ahead, good battle here between rookie Nicole Williams and Adam Chambers. Now Chambers, remember, comes into this race second in points, only 16 points back from the leader, Matthew Rodriguez. At this point, with Matthew Rodriguez back in 23rd, Adam Chambers and Matthew Rodriguez would actually be tied for the points lead. Sean Henley's going to go 3 wide underneath both Chambers and Nicole Williams and go to the lead. And I think we got a new leader. Yes, we do. Dylan Young is now out in front. He has taken the top spot. Dylan Young trying to pick up his first Truck Series win of Season 5. Then you got Margaret Mason in second. Dylan Poteet, outside pole sitter, is slipped back to third. Luke Walker now up to fourth. Now Walker ended up having 2 straight top 5 finishes, I believe it was. It was either top 5 or top 10 finishes at both Castle Gorge and Atlanta. Then at Infineon, it did not work out in his favor. He didn't finish that well, but he's looking to get back into contention here today as he's currently inside the top 5. And then you got John Citadino now in the 5th position. So the pole sitter at least keeping tabs with these guys. The battle's on for the lead again. Dylan Young, Dylan Poteet, and Margaret Mason. 3 trucks going to battle here. Well, looks like it's now going to be a battle for second. Poteet going to get to the inside of the 50 Allied Steel Chevrolet and try and take that position, as Citadino now is all over the back bumper of Luke Walker for 4th place. Sean Henley steadily running there in 6th place, waiting for a line to open up. Dylan Young going to come down. This track very, very similar to where Dylan Young ended up winning his first career Truck Series race when he drove the 57 back, I believe it was in Season 3. It may have been Season 2. But Dylan Young obviously knows how to get around these speedways, and he'd love to be able to put that to good use today with a victory as we're coming around to receive lap number 9. So far, we've been clean and green, no caution flags. These drivers have done a good job to put on a great show, but completely under green as now is a battle 3 wide. That was for second, but now it's for third. Henley now to the inside of John Citadino. Luke Walker now moving by Margaret Mason. That is for a spot inside the top 5. How about Rohit Vidaravu? Haven't talked about him. Here he is up in the 6th position now, I believe. No, that's 7th place, my bad. Tony Blazer there in 8th now. Welty 9th, and James McLeod is now slipping back. He's now back to 10th. But nice run for Rohit Vidaravu, who ended up picking up his 2nd career Snickers Cup Series victory last week in the 27. So he's trying to win his 2nd straight NNSCRA race in as many starts. Meanwhile, back up front, it's become the Dylan and Dylan show. Dylan Young, Dylan Poteet, and Sean Henley right there in 3rd. How ironic. Cast your memory back to Sean Henley's Amp Energy Cup Series when it was Dylan Young and Dylan Poteet to battle it out in the season finale. Now you've got the 2 drivers and the driver who hosted that race running inside the top 3 now, as Poteet now is going to bypass Dylan Young for the lead. Moves right up and throws the block for any advance on the high line. Sean Henley now starting to close in on this battle, make it a 3-man fight. And then it'll become a 3-man and 1 fight if Margaret Mason can catch up. These laps ticking away awfully quickly. When they reach the back straightaway, we'll be past the halfway point now in today's event. So far, been clean and green, no caution, really nothing even close to a caution. Even when they go 3 wide, they give each other enough room here in the turns that we haven't even seen anything remotely resembling an incident that could bring out a caution flag. As we are past the halfway point, why don't we take a look through the field and see who's running where. Dylan Poteet is the leader. Dylan Young second. Henley now third. Margaret Mason is fourth. Fifth, Rohit Vidaravu. And Tony Blazer is currently in sixth. James McLeod seventh. Colin Welty eighth. Chris Dollarton's ninth. And Anthony McCurry now completes the top 10 with John Cedino back to 11th. Chambers 12th. Luke Walker 13th. Bob Jones 14th. And Alex Tanker completes the top 15. Then there's a battle here for 16th place. There's Kyle Sosnowski, Trent Dunham, Seth Cole, and the current points leader, Matthew Rodriguez, who has worked his way up from a rather dismal starting position all the way up now, just outside of the top 15. We'll take a look now and find out where some other top runners in the points are. We've seen Rodriguez and we've seen Adam Chambers, as well as Henley and McLeod. How about the current rookie points leader, Felix Harris? Haven't discussed him all day. See where the 78 is currently running. There he is, back in the 30th position, trying to close in on rookie Dom Capps, as well as his teammate Barney Ward. Don't count Felix Harris out yet. There's still quite a ways to go in this thing, and Felix Harris could get up there. So he's been putting together some excellent runs, which have gotten him the rookie points lead from Danica Shirley. Another driver we haven't talked about is Nick Eggleston. He's just a few cars ahead there. Currently in the 26th position, now racing side by side with Barney Ward, now boxed in behind Carter Keselowski. So right now he is not going anywhere fast, as he is outside of the top 25. Let's find out where the two Roush Fenway teammates are running, who come into this race 8th and 9th in points. Hayden Klein is one of them. He is 9th in points. And he just bypassed the points leader, Matthew Rodriguez, that I believe was for the 21st position. So Hayden Klein steadily trying to move his way up to the front. How about Stephen Pollard III, who comes in third in rookie points. Wow, he's back in a hornet's nest, and this is back in the 38th position. So even back near the rear of the field, they are racing really, really hard for position. And if my eyes didn't deceive me, Danica Shirley, man, she's back in the 41st position. Danica Shirley, who was a former points leader as well as rookie points leader. Boy, this is almost shades of what happened at Infineon last week to the 3. Danica Shirley did not get involved in any incident last week, but had a terrible qualifying position and never worked her way to the front. Almost looking like the exact same thing here today, as Danica is running all the way back here with Charles Jackson. Jackson, this is not the kind of run he wanted, coming off a runner-up finish last week in Infineon, and there's former winner of the season Jacob Cook way at the back as well. 37th in points he comes into this race, and this is not going to help out him moving up in the standings at all. Meanwhile, Dylan Poteet still the leader. Dylan Young moving into second, Sean Henley third. Margaret Mason now losing 2 positions there on the front straightaway, as we are nearing lap number 20, which will give us 8 laps to go. Still been clean and green, no cautions whatsoever. I don't know if pit stops will come into play here. I very much doubt it. There's Mason in 4th. Tony Blazer, nice run in 5th. He's been steadily putting together some good runs. I believe Blazer at one point was dead last in the standings. He's now worked his way up to 28th in the standings. There's Rohit Vidaravu. He is actually next to last in points, only to Ron Vajara Jr. So Vidaravu really needing a run like this today. And there's Colin Welty right behind him. Welty was inside the top 10 in points for a while at the beginning of the season. Slipped out, is now 14th in points, so currently running inside the top 10. It could move him back into the top 10 heading into next week, as right now Dylan Young has been bypassed by both Sean Henley and Margaret Mason. He's slipping back, but as these drivers continue to battle for second place, Dylan Poteet just keeps himself out in front. Sean Henley, though, he is starting to close in. Can the hometown boy win it here in the 43? Henley, who last week could arguably said was one of the cars that was going to battle for the win after he started on the pole. Henley ended up getting turned around by Matthew Rodriguez, who ended up going on to win that race. Henley had to settle for a top 10, but still, Sean Henley, great run right now for the guy who comes in 5th in points. And what a great runner-up finish, or not runner-up, follow-up finish is what I was going to say, to his top 10 finish at Infineon. If he can finish inside the top 5 or even win today's race, Here we go, a total of 5 laps to go rather. Dylan Poteet, Sean Henley, Margaret Mason, Dylan Young, Tony Blazer, Rohit Vidarva. It seems like those are going to be the drivers to battle this out. See if anybody other drivers are going to be competing for this. Looks like maybe Chris Dollerton and maybe even Adam Chambers and Colin Welty. But that may be it, as there are 2 teammates back here. Nice run for those 2 guys, 2 rookies. Bob Jones in the 11 and Alex Tanker in the 18. Now Bob Jones comes into this race currently in the 40th place in points, so a nice run for him. And Alex Tanker's trying to work his way back inside the top 10 in points, as he's dropped to 16th in the standings after what has been 3 dismal weeks for the 18 team. Meanwhile, Margaret Mason just took the 2nd position away from Sean Henley, now closes in on Dylan Poteet. Poteet's just been kind of saying, hey, anybody going to challenge me for this lead? I'm all alone up here. And he may get some company now. Here comes Margaret Mason with 3 laps to go here at Kansas. Poteet, Mason, Henley, Dylan Young, those 4 have opened up a little bit of gap now between themselves and 5th place, which is Rohit Vidarva. Then it's a bigger gap back to Dollerton. This thing all of a sudden at the end of the race, rather than accordioning up, it's spreading out. So we're having, it looks like, a total of 4 drivers that may settle this thing out. Maybe 5 if Dollerton can get back up there. And Rohit Vidarva, well, nope, looks like they won't be able to, as there is time running out. 2 laps to go. Dylan Poteet, Margaret Mason, Sean Henley, and Dylan Young. All these drivers have been up inside the top 5 for a majority of this race. One of them is going to be the winner, I do believe. Sorry for the glitch there. I don't know what's going on with my fraps. Come on, stop freezing up. Here we go, though. White flag lap. Of course, it would choose the final lap to start doing this kind of a glitch. Dylan Poteet going to take the white flag, looking for his first Truck Series win of the season. But here goes Mason. Here comes Henley. They're going to dive it 3 wide, but they couldn't get to the inside. Henley now going for 2nd. Can Henley mount any kind of a charge here? Poteet opening up real estate between himself and that battle for 2nd. It's now 5 car lengths. Now closed up to 4, but it's going to be Dylan Poteet. Smooth sailing for Dylan Poteet. Ever since he took the lead, he didn't look back, and Dylan Poteet will come out of turn number 4. He will win his first Truck Series race of Season 5. He takes the checkers in the SFP 250. 2nd place was held on to by Margaret Mason. I think Henley, the hometown boy, following up his top 10 finish last week, he will get 3rd place. But Dylan Poteet is the man of the hour. Poteet signed up for the number 31. He did not want the Caterpillar car, though. He wanted his number 31 out of Turner Motorsports. And finally here, 9 races in, he will go to victory lane. Certainly a big momentum boost for Dylan Poteet, who I mentioned has been putting together really good runs as of late. Came in 17th in points. This will certainly help him move up in the standings. As usual, we will take a look at our top 10 finishers. We mentioned Mason in 2nd, Sean Henley in 3rd. He came in 5th in points, and what a great run for him today. Dylan Young, great run for him as well. We may see Dylan Young inside the top 10 in the Oreo Truck Series standings after leaving Kansas. Rohit Vidarva, a well-needed finish for him as he came in 41st in points. Dollerton, a nice run for him as well in 32nd in points. He'll finish today in 6th. Colin Welty, a great run in 7th. 8th place is going to be Adam Chambers. Now we're going to have to see if Chambers did get the points lead from Matthew Rodriguez in just a moment, as Chambers came in 2nd in points, only 16 points back. Tony Blazer going to finish the day in 9th, a very nice top 10 finish for him. And James McLeod, he's going to be the one to complete the top 10, as James McLeod came into this race 6th in the standings, so a nice consecutive run there for the 30 team. I believe James McLeod actually finished in the top 10 at Infineon last week as well, so both he and Henley, nice runner-up finishes. I think Chambers may have also done the same last week as well, and we also know that Dylan Young did, so a lot of drivers using the momentum they had with good finishes at Infineon last week to get good runs here today. Alright, so Adam Chambers is currently in the 8th position for the finish of this race. In order for him to be the points leader, it would mean that Matthew Rodriguez would have had to finish in 25th place or worse. Is that going to be the case? Let's see. The 14 finished the day in the 25th position. So I think that means that Adam Chambers, by 1 point, is going to be the points leader heading into next week's race. Unbelievable. So Adam Chambers, for I believe the first time this season, maybe the second time this season, is the Oreo Truck Series points leader heading into next week, which is going to come from the high banks of Talladega Superspeedway. It's going to certainly be a wild one there, but we still got good old Kansas racing coming your way here with Mobile and Snickers Cup Series events lined up. Hope you guys will tune in for that. Dylan Poteet started second, but finished with the win today. His first win of the season in the Oreo Truck Series. Hope you guys enjoyed today's race. If you did, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, become a part of the crew today, and we will see you guys next time here on the NNSCRA Sports channel, offline racing at its best.